It's easy to say we'll do things, to promise the world to others, but when the time comes to fulfill those promises, fear sets in. The fear of not being enough, the fear of failing, the fear of losing ourselves in the process. The promises I haven't kept are like whispers in the wind, calling out to me from the past. They make me question who I am now and who I was supposed to become. The scariest part is knowing that they may be too far gone to fulfill. I try to ignore the nagging feeling in my chest, the guilt of all the promises I've broken, but every time I do, it becomes louder, more consuming. The fear that I may never find the courage to make things right keeps me awake at night. I fear that the promises I've failed to keep will haunt me forever, leaving me feeling like I've failed at the most important parts of life. The fear of being stuck in this cycle is something I can't escape from. The more I try to run from my unkept promises, the more they seem to chase me. It's as if they've become part of me, etched into my soul, reminding me of who I was supposed to be and what I was supposed to do. I fear the future, not because of what's ahead, but because of the promises I still haven't kept. Each one is a thread tying me to a past I'm afraid to confront. The scariest part is wondering if it's too late to change anything. The fear of unkept promises is like a shadow that follows me wherever I go. It's always there, reminding me of what I've failed to do, who I've failed to become, and whether I'll ever find the strength to make it right. I've made so many promises, and each one feels like a mountain I can't climb. The fear of not being able to fulfill them weighs heavily on me, and I can't help but wonder if I've reached the point where it's too late. The fear of disappointing others because of promises unfulfilled is nothing compared to the fear of disappointing myself. Every unkept vow feels like a small piece of my soul slipping away, and I don't know how to get it back. The thought of all the promises I've left behind frightens me more than any failure. It's the knowledge that I have fallen short of my own expectations that keeps me awake at night, wondering if I'll ever make it right. I'm afraid that with each passing day, my promises become more distant, more impossible to reach. I've let time slip away, and now I'm wondering if there's any way to go back and fulfill what I said I would do. The promises I haven't kept are a constant source of anxiety. They live in my thoughts like unfinished business, and every time I try to move forward, they drag me back, reminding me of all the things I promised but never delivered. It's terrifying to think of all the promises I've made that remain unfulfilled. The fear of letting people down is one thing, but the fear of never being able to fulfill My own hopes for myself is something entirely different. The fear of not keeping my promises is something that follows me everywhere. It's like an invisible weight I carry, reminding me of everything I said I would do and everything I've failed to achieve. I can feel the weight of each unkept promise pressing down on me, and I don't know how to escape it. The fear of being stuck in this cycle of broken vows is slowly suffocating me, and I'm unsure if I'll ever find my way out. I never realized how much of a toll unkept promises would take on me. Now, every day feels like a reminder of what I should have done, and the fear of never being able to fix it all is becoming overwhelming. There's a deep fear that I've left so many promises behind, so many things undone, that there's no way to go back and make it right. It's the fear of not being able to change, of not being able to heal the things that are broken inside me. The promises we make to others can sometimes feel like the only thing that defines us. When we don't keep them, it's like we lose a part of ourselves, and the fear of not getting that part back is what truly scares me. It's terrifying to think of all the moments I promised to be there, promised to love, promised to change, only to realize that I haven't kept any of those promises. The fear of disappointing everyone I care about and myself is suffocating. The thought of my unkept promises lingers like a dark cloud above me. I try to push it away, but it always finds a way to remind me of how much I've failed and how much I still need to do to make it right. The scariest part of breaking promises is realizing that it's not just the other person who suffers, it's me. I feel the weight of each broken vow in my heart, wondering if I'll ever be able to live up to the expectations I set for myself. I wonder if I've lost the ability to keep my promises. The fear of letting everyone down, including myself, is paralyzing. How do I find the courage to make up for everything I haven't done yet? Sometimes the weight of all the promises we've made can feel like an unbearable burden, especially when we realize we haven't lived up to them. It's not just the fear of letting others down, but the deep, unsettling truth that we've let ourselves slip away too, consumed by the unfulfilled dreams we once held so tightly. There are moments when the promises we make to others haunt us like shadows in the dark, reminders of what we were supposed to be and who we were supposed to become. The fear of facing these unkept promises is what keeps us up at night, wondering if it's too late to turn things around. I feel the weight of each promise I failed to keep pressing down on me, like invisible chains wrapping tighter around my chest with each passing day. The fear of the consequences is real, but it's the fear of disappointing myself even more that truly shakes me. Every day I wake up knowing I've promised more than I've delivered, and it terrifies me. I want to believe it's not too late to make things right, but sometimes that fear creeps in. What if I'm running out of time to fulfill the promises that mean the most? The promises I've made and haven't kept are like unfinished chapters in the story of my life. Each one nags at me. Each one feels like a broken vow. And every time I try to move forward, it feels like they pull me back. The scariest thought isn't failing to keep a promise. It's the realization that the promises we've broken leave a void that can never quite be filled. The constant fear of not being enough, not doing enough, not loving enough. It's an ever-present companion. I look at all the promises I've yet to fulfill, and they weigh me down. Each one is a reminder of a moment I wasn't brave enough to act, a chance I didn't take, and a love I didn't fully give. The scariest part is wondering if I still have enough time to change the course of it all. I've become afraid of the silence, the quiet moments where the weight of my unkept promises comes rushing back. There's so much left undone, so many things I should have said, so many things I should have changed. The fear is overwhelming, like a never-ending reminder of how much I've let slip through my fingers. It's terrifying to face the truth about the promises we've made but haven't kept. Each promise is a piece of who we thought we were going to be, and when we can't live up to them, it's like a piece of ourselves falls away too. Sometimes I wonder if I'm running away from myself, my unkept promises, the things I said I would do but never did. It's scary to think that maybe I'm more afraid of confronting these truths than I am of staying stuck in the place where I never make progress. I fear the consequences of not keeping the promises I've made. I fear the disappointment in the eyes of those who trust me. But more than anything, I fear the reflection in the mirror, wondering who I've become in the process of breaking all those vows. Every unkept promise is a door left half open, a chance missed, a future that's no longer within reach. And every day I delay facing the truth, I wonder how many of those doors I've locked forever. The scariest thing isn't the promises we've broken, but the fear that we'll never find the courage to make them right. Each day that passes feels like another opportunity lost, and the fear of it all is suffocating. I wake up with the crushing realization that there are promises left in the dust, dreams untouched, and words unspoken. It feels like I'm running out of time to make up for everything I've neglected, and I don't know if I'll ever be enough to fix it all. The promises we make to others become the promises we make to ourselves. Breaking them doesn't just hurt the ones we love, it slowly breaks us too. And I can't help but wonder if I've let this fear of failure stop me from living the life I've always wanted. It's like I'm drowning in a sea of promises I can't keep, each wave pulling me deeper into regret and fear. I keep telling myself it's not too late, but with every unkept vow, it feels like I'm sinking further away from the person I thought I'd become. I don't know what's worse. The fear of confronting the broken promises or the reality of how much I've failed to show up for myself. It's terrifying to face the truth that I've become someone I barely recognize, someone who couldn't keep their word. I fear the weight of my own promises. Every unfulfilled vow is like a crack in the foundation of who I am, and with every failure to keep my word, I wonder if I'm slowly eroding the person I once hoped to be. Every unkept promise is a thread unraveling the fabric of my soul. It's like a constant reminder that I'm not where I want to be, and the fear of never getting there is a constant companion that I can't seem to shake off.